Hello and welcome to the Seedstars World Competition 2020 for Fiji in the Pacific Islands. This year, our event is fully online, and we thank you all for joining us remotely and supporting the startups in what should be a great event. We will now hand over to Max Cuvelier, Head of Mobile for Development from GSMA, for his opening remarks.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Pacific leg of the Seedstars World Competition 2020, the Fiji edition. My name is Max Cuvelier. I'm the Head of Mobile for Development at the GSMA, and I'm really thrilled to welcome you today to this online virtual event. This event has two objectives. One is obviously supporting local startups, but the other one is also helping put them on the map at a national, at a regional, and at a global level. The GSMA, in partnership with the Australian government, is committed to supporting entrepreneurs. And this is why we're repeating the Seedstars World Competition in Fiji, but also in Samoa and in PNG. But we're also doing more this year to train up entrepreneurs. We've partnered with Fundia to run entrepreneurship training courses in Fiji, Samoa, and PNG. Also acknowledging that not all the startups are at the same stage, we've developed two different tracks for support. One startup challenge for those startups that want to start from an idea or a prototype, and a launchpad for the more established companies. And we're really impressed by the number and the quality of applicants. 496 applications from the three countries, with a great representation of female talent. We're now providing support and filtering. We've got 142 accepted to the Startup Challenge and now progressing through the program. And we already have provided 80 coaching sessions through the Startup Challenge. And the good news is we're retaining great female participation throughout, where actually the proportion of female founders grows as we progress through the program. And when it comes to the Launchpad, we've got 54 teams accepted to the next stage of the training. In Fiji in particular, we wanted to thank a few people. Tracebo in particular, Ken and Shona, the two co-founders, who were the Seedstars 2019 winners and have really become local champions for this training program this year and helping us spread the word. We also want to thank the Fiji Commerce and Employers Federation for hosting the training programs and the press conference. And finally, I want to personally thank Farid Mohammed, the CEO of Digital Fiji, for giving time to mentor the startups. We met in Samoa last year, and I'm great to see him supporting local startups in a new market now. So overall, we're really excited to bring you this online virtual event where you will be able to not only see the startups pitch, but you will see professionals like grilling them about their business, a process through which you can only learn from yours. There will be a speaker panel on the entrepreneurship landscape specifically in Fiji, and obviously that will touch on the impact of the COVID-19 crisis. And of course, at the end, the judges will deliberate and announce the winners for the local country competition. As Pierre de Coubertin said, he's the father of the modern Olympic Games. The important thing in life is not the triumph, but the struggle. And I'm sure all of you will be learning through this process. Again, I wanted to address a big thank you to the Australian government for making this event possible, as well as to all of you attendees from Fiji, but also from the Pacific and from around the world for tuning in what should be a very exciting virtual event today. So enjoy everyone and make the most of it. Thank you.
We will now hear from Anna Dorney, Australian Deputy High Commissioner to Fiji, who helped make this event possible.
Bula Vinaka, and welcome to this live broadcast of the Seedstars Pitching Competition 2020. I am Anna Dorney, and I'm the Australian Deputy High Commissioner to Fiji. In 2019, Seedstars brought their emerging market pitching competition to the Pacific for the first time, through a partnership between the Australian Government and GSMA. These events were an opportunity for local startups to pitch their ideas and leverage the Seedstars community of business experts and investors to take their business to the next level. Last year, Traceable was selected as the winner of the Fiji event. And as part of their winner's prize, Traceable attended the Seedstars regional event in Cambodia. Traceable Solutions was co-founded by Kenneth and Shauna Catafono. Traceable applies technology to improve the provenance and traceability of the Pacific's fisheries and agricultural products entering the global market. Proving the competitiveness of Pacific startups, Traceable was recognised as one of the most promising startups in the Asia-Pacific region and invited to the Global Summit. While the Global Summit could not take place due to COVID-19, the Traceable team has instead used their time to mentor new startups through the entrepreneurship training programs supported by the Australian Government and GSMA. Australia is committed to tackling the challenge of COVID-19 together with our partners. Economic recovery is a central focus of Australia's new development policy, Partnerships for Recovery. The private sector is an essential partner. Helping the private sector to access capital and to re-establish markets and global value chains is vital for our region's economic recovery. I wanted to let you know quickly about the Business Partnerships Platform, which is an important part of this work. The Business Partnerships Platform is an Australian government-funded program which aims to create jobs, generate income, and empower women through private sector partnerships. This year, for the first time, the Business Partnerships Platform will be open to opportunities in Fiji. Australia will co-invest with businesses on opportunities that are scalable and replicable, creating lasting social and development impact. In conclusion, I am very encouraged by events like Seedstars, and it's inspiring to see the growing investment opportunities for Pacific businesses. I want to wish everyone the best of luck today with their pitching and encourage you to make the most of the expertise and experience of Seedstars and GSMA in the Pacific. Vinaka Vakalevu.
After months of scouting local startups, the Seedstars competition is finally back to Fiji. Out of dozens of applications received, 8 great entrepreneurs have been shortlisted to pitch their solutions in front of an international jury, with the chance to be crowned as the Suva winner of the Seedstars World Competition 2020.
I'm Moira Salvalo and I'm the co-founder for 8 Mountains Sustainable. I'm from Fiji Islands, from the second city of Lautoka, known as the Sweet Sugar City. Our startup 8 Mountains Sustainable actually handles and looks after production of reusable products. We're trying to change mindsets to do with reusable products. We're also looking at having some guiding arm in terms of how we can grow in the Pacific. We love what we do. We look for new ways to reinvent our products. I'd like to see a more greener Fiji. For sustainable products like ours, even if you don't get the funding this time around, but people know what you do, so there's a tendency for people to come forward. So I'm thankful to Seedstars for actually coming to Fiji. I think this is the second year. I hope to meet a whole lot of people through the networks that Seedstars brings in and be able to tap into those networks as well. I'm Moira Salvalo from the fashion label 8 Mountains Fiji, and our motto is Imagine, Believe and Create. My co-founder is also in the room today. So the mother body of 8 Mountains Sustainable is actually a designer label named 8 Mountains. Our following on Facebook is shown there. We have more than 20,000 followers. And these are the awards that we have won over the years, proving that we have been able to run a really good business. 8 Mountains Sustainable actually came into the whole body because we believe in creating innovative, sustainable menstrual care solutions for women. And this came about during COVID. So we decided to do a new diversification of our business from fashion into sustainable production. So this is to encourage and raise the quality of life and contribute to a better waste management practice here in Fiji. Sadly, the reality is that 87% of women in Fiji still use disposable sanitary pads, and there are only 3 dump sites that in Fiji that looks after this wastage. They too have their own daily waste management issues. Our theory of change is to create a national resurgence in the use of reusable products that is sustainably manufactured and easily available to women in both the rural and the urban settings. How so? We plan to do this through awareness programs, marketing, distribution channels, online platforms such as an app where women in culturally sensitive rural areas can actually silently order their reusable sanitary kits without the dramas of having to go to the supermarket shelf and picking it for themselves. We will develop and execute a public campaign on the advantages of reusable sanitary menstrual pads, attacking the widespread behavior towards healthcare, waste management, and as a fashion label, lead sustainable production. Our model is efficient and it's scalable. Efficient in the sense that we have tested it. We've also, as a fashion label, over the last few months since we started this sustainable production, have shown that it actually is a success through customer feedback and our sales. It's scalable in the sense that we have partnered with NGOs, certain government regulatory bodies, and are hoping to use media in targeting at least 10% of the communities in Fiji, women in communities in Fiji. In Fiji, women make up 49.33% of the population. 10% only would be around 44,397 users. And we hope to switch them to from using disposable pads into reusable pads. If each woman spent at least $11 a month on reusable menstrual pads, the turnover in sales would be around 4.83 million. On the next, you'll see is our year-on-year growth, where we hope to also target Samoa, Tuvalu, Tonga, Nauru as part of this a cluster model of how we would like to increase and develop sustainable pads in the Pacific. This slide actually shows the benefits of using it, and I'll just shortly go through it. Cloth pads are good for your body. They don't have a lot of chemicals in it. Cloth pads are good for the planet, and also good for your budget. They're comfortable, and the pads are very quiet if you have to change in public toilets. So these are some of the advantages of using reusable menstrual pads. These are the co-founders. So we have Marika Elaine Conrote, there's myself, and this is my team of sustainable warriors on the right-hand side. Marika is actually our production director, and she has more than 15 years of experience in the administration side as well as production. There's myself, who has started 8 Mountains, the mother body, and we've been in business now since 2009. These are the posters of what we have been selling in the market. We've also taken our product to flea markets in Fiji, and it has worked very well with us. It has a success rate here in Fiji. So especially during COVID, it has been a success when many people have decided to change mindsets from using disposable into reusable, mainly forced by actually the current financial situations they're going through. Our revenue streams, how we hope to make this a lucrative business. One, sanitary pad production through retail sales, online platforms, consultation and training. And also, we've gone all the way into the forethought of end product waste management. So I'll speak a little later about end product waste management, but these are the 5 streams in which we hope to gain revenue for 8 Mountains. We're looking for an investment of 50,000 USD, which will be used exponentially into marketing and growth, development phase, raw materials, and operational costs. Our competition, well, there are a few companies that actually are doing reusable pads, but actually not for sale. So none currently in Fiji. Unfair advantage in this is that we are trained gold certificate holders for Days for Girls, the international body, And because of that, we have been able to go into the market with questionnaires and have feedback on that. The secret as to why you should hear our pitch and back out our business model is because we have a proven record in business, not just only as a fashion brand. We hope to be able to lead the resurgence in new reusable menstrual pads. Waste product
Sorry, Moira. It's been almost 7 minutes, so I have to stop you here. Okay, so thanks a lot, Moira, for your presentation and for telling us a bit more about 8 Mountains. That was really, really thankful for this. It was really interesting, and congratulations for what you're trying to do here in Fiji. It's an amazing, that's really an amazing business that you're running. So I will actually start with one question, and then I will leave the word to the rest of the other jurors. So first of all, I just wanted to have an understanding about what is the difference in pricing that you have with respect to non-reusable products. How much are consumers actually spending at the moment?
All right. So a disposable pad that has around 10 pads in it, in the market right now goes from around $4 something to $6, depending on which brand you buy. With ours, our cost is actually $8.87 for 3, which is the shields and the inner lining. So our customer is actually not making a savings based on the monthly, but they on overall over the year, they make a savings there because it's reusable. But over the lifespan of a year, our product actually has a 4-year lifespan. They make a savings, a huge savings.
So it can be used for 4 years? Is it?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Lizzie, Finn, any questions? Please feel free.
Thank you, Moira, for that presentation. Fortunately, you didn't get to finish it, but thanks for what you shared. I mean, this is an issue that I'm quite passionate about. I do a lot of this work in Rotary. I was quite interested in some of the comments you made as you presented. I mean, you kept referring to this product going to women. You didn't say girls, so I was quite interested to see where the girls in high school particularly came in, because women who've used pads over a number of years, it's hard to change the habit. So if you're looking to target girls in high schools, and particularly we know that a lot more girls are pulling out of high schools or miss days in school because they've had their period. So where's your marketing and targeting around girls particularly? 2, I'm quite interested, the $50,000 you mentioned, you was marketing some raw materials and the development. I just wanted you to elaborate what maybe 1 or 2 things around that development scope that you've put. 3 is the countries that you've listed in the Pacific. We work across the Pacific in PIPSA, so I was quite interested why you selected those countries. And yeah, I'll leave it at that so I can get Finn to pose some questions so I'm not hogging the microphone. Thank you.
So your first question was with regards to not mentioning girls?
Yeah, because you just kept referring to women, and it's a behavioral thing where if you're targeting women who've used over the number of years, store-bought, pre-made sanitary pads, whereas unless you were lumping all women and girls together.
Yeah, I was lumping all women and girls, but if you look at my revenue streams where I spoke about the 5 different ways in which we were going to get income, part of that was consultation and training. So we were hoping to work with, we already are with some schools, but we'd like to develop that more in terms of going into the school system. That's why I said we try to work with the Ministry of Health and going to high schools and primary schools where girls who are of the age are educated as to the reasons why they should move from disposable to reusable products. So yeah, on the point there where the number 4 on revenue streams, consultation and training came into that. So that's the part where we target the high schools and primary schools as well. When you said about the investment portion, you asked about development. With the development portion of it, that's where we go into the primary schools, the high schools, and women in communities. So apart from you also in Rotary, you know of our there's an involvement there as well, but our community work has gone far into as partnerships with NGOs. So that's where the development portion is.
I just wanted to know more about, was this, I mean, that's talking about partnerships that fund, so of that 50,000, you're splitting it between growth, development, and raw materials. I just wanted you to elaborate what, aside from collaboration, so is that what you're saying? A lot of the development part is around collaboration?
Yes, because right now the NGOs buy the pads from us and then distribute them into the market. So that collaboration is where we need to also take much of our time into developing mindsets and tweaking it in the market. So that's where we go into it. And there was a third question.
Yeah, it was just the countries you listed. You had Samoa, Tuvalu. I was just interested how you came up with those ones.
All right, so we currently send pads to Tuvalu right now, but there's no way of teaching the women out in those in Tuvalu how to make the pads and all. So that's why I have targeted the Pacific Islands, because if we can change people's mentality towards reusable products, only, like I said, we're targeting just 10% of the women and girls in those countries. So our revenue streams, if you look here, the countries that we're looking at, it's a growth of 10%, and then the following year by 12, and then 15 year-on-year growth that we hope. We have already gone into Tuvalu. We're still in talks right now with Samoa and Tonga.
Can you just tell me how many units you've already kind of sold or distributed, and maybe what that revenue is?
From the lockdown that happened in Fiji to right now, we've sold more than 5,000 pets. That also includes the Tuvalu one as well.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
I just have one more question. So the 5,000 you've sold, have they been purchased by individuals, or are they funded like through NGO programs? So it's NGOs that are bulk purchasing and distributing, or is it individual customers?
It's a combination of both. We also go to the flea markets as well. So part of that is around, if I'm approximating it, around 1,000 something to individuals around the communities through our flea markets. You'll see from the time of the lockdown in Fiji till now, our company has been out in the markets because this is, the flea market interactions are really good. We actually get feedback on the users, and it's easy to get our questionnaires out as well.
Thanks a lot again, Moira from 8 Mountain Sustainable. There was a pleasure having you today.
Thank you.
And thank you.
I'm Sanjeeva Pereira, and I represent CNC Solutions Private Limited. I'm originally from Sri Lanka, but been in Fiji for the last 10 years. So we try to see, okay, what can we do in terms of bringing technology into that space. This specific project is called Park and Pay. So there's two audiences. One is the general public who drive vehicles. Then the other audience is the council itself that looks after these parking slots. If Fiji wants to be the next Singapore, how do we become the next Singapore? We need platforms or people who are willing to invest in the interest that will not only help us, but it will help the greater community. Hence, programs like Seedstar kind of, encourages us to keep working, keep us motivated that there is somebody out there who's willing to help us out. We may be too small, but still there is innovation which can be made here and still be global.
Hi all. Thank you for the opportunity. So let me quickly take you through the concept. What's this product all about? How do I find parking when I need one without having to go in circles or waste time? The purpose of the app is, or it's called Park and Pay, is to serve the parking audience to find a parking slot at their convenience and make payments online. The app will save time, provide convenience, and reduce congestion in a busy city. There's also another audience, which is the authorities. So how does this help the authorities? It is to build a smarter cities and use of technology to be efficient and effective. What are the facts or issues? So there's two audiences, like I said, the driving audience and the authorities. So to the driving audience, there is time wasted today, creating of congestion, because again, you're looking for parking slots. Non-working parking meters very often leads to frustration. Again, a lot of the times you don't have the right amount of coins in your hand. Again, there is also a lot of smartphone penetration in the country, which you can use. And then there's also a revenue leakage where people don't pay the right amount for the right time that you park. For the authorities, it is the workforce productivity. I don't know whether you're aware, but in Fiji, there is checkers that go around and charge customers that do not pay for parking, or they go and check if they have parked in the right places. There's workforce management, which comes at a high cost today. Poor cash flow. And the authority I'm talking about is the city councils here. There's revenue leakage, again, because there's cash collected from the meters, but actually not reconciled when it comes to the council. Meters are now becoming old technology and becoming very high cost in terms of maintaining them. This also is an issue with traffic flow and management of traffic flow in a city. And then from the institute point of view, there's lack of real-time data. So what's the solution? It's called Park and Pay, parking made easy. No more coins, no more hassle, park and be on your way. That's the concept. So the app is actually available, or not yet available, but we will make it available on iOS and on Android. It will work on both forms. So the general features are, it is an app-based and also web-based. Web-based is for the backend and the app-based for the consumer. Works both in Android and iOS. It's very the customer has a front end and an admin has a back end. So the admin is more relevant to the authorities. There is immediate analytics on the app itself. There's geo mapping, because again, most of these parking slots are mapped. There's an inbuilt payment gateway. So we are linking the mobile wallet in Fiji, and we are also looking at a bank to integrate to payment through credit cards. And the data is real time. Some more features. So for the user, you log in with a username, password. You link it to your vehicle registration. So we hope to link it to the Land Transport Authority, where all the vehicle registrations are registered to a specific user. The navigation is relatively, if you see on the pictures. So on the navigation, you can easily find what are the available parking slots. So all parking slots will be marked. So once you pay and park, you know your date, you know your time, and you know the duration you will park it for. The beauty of this is you also can do advanced parking. So hence, what that means is if you are going to the city tomorrow, you can book your slot for tomorrow. So you will also see time lapsed or available. What that means is if you buy a 1 hour parking slot, and let's say you're in a meeting and you're going to extend that time slot for 1.5 hours, you will get a notification 15 minutes early saying that your time is going to be up in 15 minutes. So which means if you want to extend, you can extend through the app itself. The beauty is it's real time again. It also has the ability to do disability loading parking. So special parking spaces can be identified through the app. Again, that's a look of what the app and how it works. So if you see the third picture from your right, you get the vehicle number, you get the slot number, you get how much you have paid for, and how you can pay. And if you look at the fourth one onto the last picture on your right, it shows how many minutes have passed and how much you have remained for the time you have paid. So the checkers, checkers are the people from the council that goes around and check whether people are paying or have a receipt on their car today. That's using the machines. So the checker, all he has to do is, again, he has a username, password. Again, the navigation is relatively easy. We made it easy. He or she can choose the zone that they are going to check. So if, as you can see on the picture on the right-hand side, each checker has a certain zone that they will check every day. So when they go to a parking slot, let's say A1, they will go and see the vehicle parked, and then they can check immediately how long the vehicle has been parked for. If by chance the person has exceeded the time limit, you can charge the driver immediately or to the car and charge. Because it's connected to a mobile number, there will be a notification to the mobile number saying he will be charged. So again, there's payment confirmation, and again, the data is real time. As you can see in these pictures, this is how the checkers application works. So as you can see on the right-hand side corner, you get the vehicle number, the time, the slot, the street, and then how long it has been paid for. If you want, you can find, or you can print a receipt through the app.
Hi, I'm sorry to interrupt. We run out of time.
Yep.
So I will leave to the jury the floor, and we might ask you some questions so that you can also go through the last slides.
Yep.
So I'll leave the floor first to Lizzie and Finn in case you guys have any questions.
Thank you for that presentation. I mean, you didn't get to this part where you were going to ask, mention the amount of money you wanted and what is it for. So if I could just ask you that, how much are you asking for and what is it for?
So if I take you to the last slide, we are looking at 270,000. This would cover our operations for the first year. So our costs are mainly for the development of the application itself, which is 62%. Salaries and support is 22%, marketing 11%. Sorry, salaries come to 4%. Sorry, that's a repeat. Admin and overhead should be 4%.
Okay. I'm just interested to know also, where would you be making your money from this app?
So the model works on a revenue share model. So City Council earns through parking fees today. So we are proposing a 20% revenue share of all earnings. We hope to give the application free to the City Council so that they can use it. As you know, City Council is struggling with funding today. So we want to give the application free, and then we want to charge a 20% revenue share. And the assumptions were done only based with Suva City Council. Currently, they have 1,548 parking slots, which refers to 128,000 available parking hours. There's 40,000 vehicles out of 80,000 vehicles registered in the whole country in Suva alone. The potential revenue opportunity is about 150,000 per month. Today, they generate about 100,000 from what they earn physically. They get about 100,000 a month.
And that's based on the current parking fees?
Yes. So currently they generate about 100,000 through the parking fees. So there are three types of parking models. There is the parking which is on the streets where you pay through a parking meter. Then you have the parking slots which is managed by certain institutes or by the City Council. Then you get the bus stand where you get the buses coming in and they pay you a fee for parking on the bus stand.
All right, because even the council structure itself is quite low if you look at the costs.
Yes. So this is the problem. I mean, for example, if you pay 20 cents, you get a receipt, but you're paying only 20 cents, but people park for one hour. So that's where the revenue leakage is.
How would that pre-booking slot work? You mentioned that.
So let's say you're going to the city tomorrow, you go on the app, you look at all the available parking slots and you decide where you want to choose and you select the parking slot number and you pay for it and the slot is booked for you. So let's say somebody else has parked in your slot, then the checker can actually check that and actually charge that person for parking in the wrong slot.
If you're booking a parking spot and someone's already in there, how will that person know that you've already booked it? Like, what is the indication for them? Because I would feel unhappy if I was fined, but I didn't know someone had booked it.
Correct. So one is when you pay for a slot, and then if somebody is on your slot, you will immediately see it on your app that the place has been taken. So the one thing that we are now in the development process we are doing is that we want to give you an alternative location, which is closest to the place you have paid without charging you extra. But for the admin panel, so from the back end, if you have booked A1, and if the admin panel sees that your vehicle is not on A1, then they can charge you.
Great. Okay. Thank you. That's helpful. And so you envisage kind of all payment and all fines to be run through the app and then the web-based backend. Is that right?
Yes. So we want to make it cashless. The whole intention is to go cashless. From a city council perspective, they are having massive revenue leakages. So this is the problem we identified. So we are proposing to go cashless. And in order to do that is to link the mobile money wallet and the debit card wallet. A cash option is available from the back end. So let's say if you're a company that regularly pays for certain space, you can go to the city council and pay cash, but it's only at the city council where you can enter cash. But as a user, you can't use cash as a payment method.
Okay, no, that's helpful.
Thank you, Finn. I have a question about the technology. I might have not understood properly. How would you monitor concretely which parking slots are actually being used, which are not, which one are free? So how would you be able to monitor this
We are exploring two options now. One is using a QR code method. One is a geo mapping method. So the geo mapping method, we are talking to Google to help us out in terms of where exactly, how we can pin the parking slots, so that as soon as somebody is parked there, then you will know it. So that's one method. So at the moment, one thing we have not progressed too much is because we are talking to Google in terms of getting the pinning of each parking slot. The second method is where you have a QR code for each parking slot, and then we will track through the QR code.
And another question I had about the features that you want to develop and you have developed so far. I just wanted to see, because you, if I recall correctly, you said that the most of the funding needs are actually for the developing of the app. So I wanted to understand so far what you have already achieved, what is already available in your app, and what are the next milestones?
So the framework is done, the UI part is done. For us to progress from here onwards to actually get into the real hardcore development part, that's where we need funding. We were hoping that we would get some customers on it, which we haven't yet. Again, as you would know, government decision making takes time. But we want, whether government comes on board or not, or councils come on board or not, we still want to take this to market. We feel it's a brilliant app, and there is no such application today in the market. So we feel that we have the first mover advantage if we take this to market. Hence the reason why we are looking for funding.
All right, I just have one more question. This is more targeted to the city council, so obviously, with the government connected authorities. But Suva or Fiji, a lot of parking slots are also privately owned, as you know. Yep. I think most parking spaces are privately owned. So how do you see this envisaging and broadening into including those private sector entities that manage car parks and facilities such as that?
So our intention was that, our first approach was to the city council. We are now actually exploring all the private entities where we can actually go and, you can sell this application to anyone, whoever who is running a parking space or property. So our intention is to, once we get this clearance from city council, we were going to engage the other parties to kind of deploy it in the other places as well. The beauty is you can link this to even with a boom gate. So which means you can trigger a boom gate to open and close. So yes, it can be taken to a private parking slot, because most private parking slots in Fiji have boom gates, as you would be aware. So yeah, you can link it to the system as well.
Okay, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot again, Sanjeeva.
My name is Shagufta. I'm the founder for Bula Lens Fiji, which is a freelancing marketplace for SMEs here in Fiji. The problem that we're trying to tackle right now is to help SMEs reduce their operations costs. We are also helping these young people from the disability community, young women who have not been able to get jobs or who have lost their jobs due to COVID, and just to bring their skills up, upskill them, because this platform also has a training platform. It's a capacity building platform attached to the freelancing platform. I think we just need support in terms of operating our business and through the growth stages, how are we going to access international markets. I'm just grateful for this opportunity here today and being selected as one of the 8 finalists for Suva challenge, and it just shows that our solution has capabilities that we can take forward and grow with.
Hello everyone, my name is Shagufta. I'm the founder for my company Bula Lens, which is a freelance marketplace specifically designed for SMEs. The problem here that we are trying to tackle is, once we did our survey, pre-sales survey, we found out that 97% of the SMEs, the employees, face a lot of time issues when they are trying to recruit labor. So it's a very time consuming process according to them. Another problem is that getting verified freelancers or contractors is also a big challenge for them, because there's not a lot of records available about them. And then they also complained about the increasing labor related costs, labor related expenses, which translate into high operations cost while operating their businesses. One of the other problems that they have identified is that to access the other online freelancing platforms like Fiverr and Upwork, SMEs require a credit card or a Visa card platform, which they do not, most of the grassroots level SMEs do not have access to it. So they are not able to outsource certain functions of their operations through Fiverr or through Upwork and other platforms available online. So that is why that is one of the problems that they are facing. Another problem that we are trying to tackle is the skill mismatch. So in Fiji, there is like certain skills that you won't be able to find, and there are certain skills that it's like available a lot here in Fiji. So we are also trying to deal with this skill mismatch. And then of course, because of COVID, there's been a lot of job losses happening here in Fiji, and there's a lot of young people, people in the disability community who are out looking for jobs, and they're not able to find anything, especially in the western division of Fiji, because of the tourism activity that has slowed down. So our solution, as mentioned earlier, is a freelancing marketplace designed for the freelancers available here in Fiji. And the solution here is to connect the freelancers to the SMEs and help them with all the operations that they require. So unlike all the other freelancing platforms, we will of course have the access professional services on demand. We will also link it with a remote call center operations, because as you know, Fiji is really, we have a rich customer service culture, and that is one of the things that we'd like to collaborate on our platform and give as a potential to our international clients. We will also have a dedicated co-working space, a virtual collaboration space, so that freelancers can collaborate on different projects together. Our capacity building program is also one of the key flagship bits of our platform, where we will try to leverage people's skills and build their skills up. We will also have virtual mentorship, where seasoned freelancers will mentor the younger freelancers that come on board on our platform. Also, there is a innovation hub / accelerator, where we will get in innovative projects and have these freelancers work on these different projects to help them accelerate their projects to the next level. The other flagship aspect of our project is the Work for Impact platform. So these are all the impact related projects that we'll be working on, where we will link the freelancers to the different impact to the different impact projects. So this is through a few philanthropic partners that we already have access to, and they have certain projects that they would like us to work on with this Bula Lens platform. The other thing is that in Fiji, there's a lot of mismatch on information around personal and household services, and getting people who are reliable people. So we will have this platform as well, where people can access reliable personal and household service providers as well. So it's more of a collaborative effort to the world of freelancing. And within the platform, we'll have a contract and payment management system. We will also verify the freelancers before we board them on the system, which is not prevalent in all the other freelancing platforms like Upwork and Fiverr. So these we will go through a verification process once we get in all the freelancers on board, and it will also have a conflict resolution system on the platform itself. So why we are doing this right now? Of course, because of COVID, people have lost their jobs and they're looking for more opportunities, and we are hoping to connect these freelancers to more income generating opportunities and to connect them to not just SMEs here locally, but also internationally as well. And also right now there's a government initiative of Fiji is currently, transitioning from just the tourism destination to a more of an outsourced service provider destination. So that is one of those are the reasons why we are setting this up right now. So the traction till date is that we created this Facebook group to just get interest from clients as well as freelancers. So so far we have 200 plus members on this group. When we did the initial survey that I was talking about, we received 1,200 response from potential clients and 700 applications received from freelancers. The 1,200 customers, the 1,200 people who responded have also expressed their interest to be our first buyers or first time users for the system. And we also have some key partnerships with donor agencies, and they have helped us to get our early adopters to our platform, such as my partnership with the Commonwealth as well. We also have a partnership with the AIS Forum. We did a pitching competition and we were able to secure a $5,000 grant, and we came in second. So this was the only project from the Pacific Island country that actually went to that platform and got funding. And we also participated in the Findia Startup Challenge and are currently in the GSMA Launchpad and also the AIS Incubation Program.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt. We run out of time, so I'll leave the floor to the jury and then we can go through the rest of the slides maybe together. If I may start with one question, can you tell us a bit more about your unit economics and your revenue streams?
So we have, for our transaction based, we have three different models. So one is the commission based model, where we will connect our freelancer to the SME, and then once they complete a certain task, then a commission, 15% commission is what we are taking in from the freelancer from that entire transaction. We'll also have tailored solutions where people can have like a project, and we'll provide a quotation based on the project and link all the freelancers and see. So if a project is around like $1,000, and then we'll see the commission that we are going to be taking from that tailored solution transaction. So these are more of like an entire project if you're getting 2 or 3 freelancers to work on one particular project. So that is how we're going to price that solution. And then of course we'll also have a subscription based models for our membership and for our frequent users. So those are the 3 revenue models that we are going to be using on this platform.
I guess is that around that fee structure which you've just mentioned. I guess where you talk about organizations where you're paying membership, the value proposition to that entity or to that individual, what that is. Also, I mean, we're quite familiar with the circumstances that SMEs in the Pacific and in Fiji go through, particularly in accessing business support services. That's always been a big challenge for micro and SMEs in the Pacific. How would you say your business model or this Bula Lance is different to say what the NPSOs and national private sector organizations in the Pacific are offering? Because a lot of chambers of commerce / industry associations are offering similar services for free if you're a member of that entity. So where's your point of difference?
This is more of a platform where you can access services, and it's like, say for example, if you need help with designing a marketing campaign, you need a graphic designer to do an on-demand work, and hiring someone, going through that hiring recruitment process of getting a full-time graphic designer is more of a costly venture to just get one project completed. You'd rather get a freelancer on board who would be coming in to do that specific task and are done with that project. So that is where the SMEs were, when we did the initial survey with the Young Entrepreneurs Council and everything, when we did that survey, they identified that they don't have access to that. I mean, there are graphic designing companies and agencies, but for an SME to tap into an agency, it becomes a costly venture as well. So with these freelancers, when we get them on board, they just do a particular project and then they move on to the other ones. As for support for SMEs through our platform, what we are giving to them is experienced an experienced talent pool, and also these freelancers will have access to our capacity building program. So they are really they are highly skilled to be able to perform these tasks set aside for them. Yeah.
I was interested to hear a little bit more about the impact projects and the philanthropic partners that were kind of, I guess, proposing those projects. Can you just give us just one maybe short example about how that function works?
So the impact projects vary. So it could be like a research projects, for example, on climate change. If a donor agency like maybe the UNCHR or any of the other donor agencies, they want to perform a research project and they need access to specific talent to be able to perform the research project, then we will connect them to our freelancers who will take this forward. Now the if I just go back up, the Work for Impact is already an existing platform, so we will be partnering with Work for Impact and we will connect them. It's also a freelancing platform, but they're just doing it's an impact based freelancing platform. So what we're going to do, we're going to connect our freelancers with that platform as well. So that becomes part of our platform too, through that partnership and collaboration.
Thank you. And you mentioned kind of partnerships with donor agencies. Can you explain how Bulla Lance works with the donor agencies?
So one of the partnerships that we have been able to secure is with the HH Holistic. It's a Singapore-based capacity building platform. We have this collaboration going on where they will provide us with the capacity building platform for our freelancers to upskill themselves, to fill in that mismatch in the skills, while we will be helping them with the impact work that they have. So it's sort of like an exchange there. And we are also partnering with the Commonwealth Youth Platform, because we'll be doing they're doing a few projects here in Fiji, and we will sort of be their support system in terms of doing these projects.
I have another quick question. If you can go up to the slide where you show all the solutions that you're kind of planning on working on, may you just clarify which one of these is in your pipeline? How are you gonna roll them out? Is it all together? Do you have a priority kind of system? What's next?
For the next 6 months, the top 3 things that we are working for is the first of all, the access to professional services platform. And the other major project that we are working on is to have our remote call center operations set up. Because we just received the funding from IIS Forum, and then we are also doing the capacity building platform, because it's already a set platform with HH Holistic, so it's really easy for us to just integrate it into our website. So these are the 3 things that we are working on right now. So once the platform is set up, like officially set up with all these 3 functions, we'll go into that virtual collaboration space, we'll go into the virtual mentorship, and also Work for Impact plan will come in from March next year. So it's all within the pipeline for about 6 to 8 months. We are going to be able to launch it all together.
Okay.
Although the co-working space, it really depends on the funding and how our project progresses over a while. So the co-working space might take about a year or 2 for us to be able to get to that stage.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Sagufta.
My name is Margareta Palaunga Nofemuli, and I'm from the Waimba Women's Group. Michael Magsiale. I'm also part of the Wemba Women's Group.
I'm originally from Laos, but I'm living here in Suva. But our business is based in Wembao, up in Naitasiri.
Our startup is basically, it's a collection of 6 women farms in the Naitasiri region. Basically, these farms basically farm a host of root crops, vegetables, livestock. Now we're going into freshwater fish. And basically the group then markets for sale all its products on the Facebook actually. So basically there's no going to the markets. We collect our orders off Facebook and we deliver direct to the customer.
Well, we are here to get finance, that's number one, and also to, through this, we will enlarge our territory for the sales of our crops and also set up in various places in Fiji.
We've heard of a lot of sad stories of what rural women go through when coming to market. And basically just the satisfaction that these women are spending less time in the market and they're spending more time at home generating their crops, and they actually are generating more revenue. Most of the women that are part of our group didn't have bank accounts before we started the group. Now, on Monday mornings, they come to Suva with their ATM card, withdraw their cash. They don't have to go and sit the whole day at the market. There's been a lot of sad stories where some of these women come to the market, spend the whole day at the market, don't even make enough for bus fare to go back. So that in itself, that is the satisfaction that we derive out of this. Yeah.
Now, as a teenager, and the eldest of the 5 children, I sold vegetables and root crops at the Suva Municipal Market to support my family. Market conditions were tough and prices were driven by big few vendors. But some days we struggled to sell enough to meet our transport costs, let alone put food on the table. My name is Margareta, and this is my dream: to make the Wemba Women's Group online marketplace a reality. And it will address the following problems. There is a lack of online marketplace for root crops, seafood, livestock, vegetables, cooked meals, handicrafts, flowers, natural herbs and spices, planting materials, and seedlings sold by rural women. In today's fast-paced world, consumers are looking for convenience and are willing to pay for it. Where can they go and order and pay for their vegetables, fruit crops, and seafood requirements online and have them delivered to their door? Rural women travel long distances. I experienced this. I wake up early in the morning at 4 o'clock, drag all my produce to the roadside, and if the bus comes and there is no carrier left for me to put in my produce, I have to wait for the next bus. So during this COVID-19, these women slept overnight at the market. Prior to COVID-19, these ladies slept overnight at the market for 2 nights just to ensure that they sold all their produce. Rural women have braved the elements to sell their produce, which sometimes hardly covers bus fare, let alone put food on the table. Rural women lose sales at the municipal market for the simple reason of not having the right change or a float cash to meet the demand or the need for a change. For example, one of our ladies came to town before we started this group. She brought a few bunches of flowers. She was there waiting. Somebody came with a $10 note. She just have to buy $2. Just because she doesn't have the change, she lose the customer. So the rural woman live from week to week, and the sale of their produce barely covers the weekly household expenses, let alone put a bit away for the rainy days. So these potential customers experience hard barriers to open a bank account, and they have to give up trying to open a bank account. So with that, the solutions we thought is to build an online marketplace for the quality root crops, seafood, livestock, and all other things, the produce that the rural women sell. The platform will create greater convenience to the buyers ordering produce from the comfort of their home, workplace, or even across international borders. One of the examples is sitting right here on my screen. That is the order that we have to deliver this Friday. Now, the online marketplace will give rural women the reach to their market from their homes. It also gives rural women a better price for their produce. The online platform will create a healthier interaction between buyers and the sellers, leading to branding and innovation from rural women to create additional product margins. The platform would provide various payment methods such as cash, credit or debit cards, money transfers, and online transfer. With ease of payment, our platform will encourage financial inclusion, providing each of our members with a bank account and financial literacy training. The opportunity for this online market will result in a competitive and secure prices for our sellers. Sellers upping their game, producing higher quality products, improved service delivery, better communication and interaction, convenience of delivery to their doors. And currently, there is no competition for online marketplace such as this. Our business model will allow for income streams such as direct sales of produce, affiliate registration fees, commission from affiliates, we mentioned 5% of the sale, and advertising revenue. Now, over the past year, WWG, through its Facebook page, has regularly achieved the following all likes of 50 to 75,000 per month. We have 487 customers on books. These customers buy either weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, on a monthly basis. Any person or organization that has bought via our Facebook page is captured in our list of the customers of 487. And this list is growing on a weekly basis. Now we service the Lami to Nosori area. We receive requests to service other geographical areas such as Pacific Harbour, Singatoka, Nandi, Lautoka, and Bad, just to name a few townships. In our first year of operation, we achieved total sales of $175,200. To achieve sale of $175,200, we have invested in a vehicle, Facebook page, smartphones, the freezers, the packaging equipment, storage equipment such as freezers, storages and packaging facilities, training of our members and staff, fresh water fish ponds, just to name a few. Now, with additional capital, we project we could upscale our operation 5-fold over the 5-year period, as there are sustainable demand for the products and service we offer. Comprises of our team is myself, the Chief Executive Officer, and Michael Maxiale, the Chief Finance Officer. And we have 3 other ladies who are always on the ground daily while we are out, like here today. They are down there on the ground, Lemba, Emma, and Alisi. We are here today asking for 50,000 US. And this investment will allow us to upscale our business by investing in the following: building of our website and related social media platforms, building the app to integrate with our website and social media platform, build a back office platform to integrate all our orders and the sale and deliveries and finance package, build a financial inclusion platform for all our members, sellers and buyers, invest in additional vehicles to increase our delivery capacity, and invest in more equipment to increase our capacity, upgrade existing facilities, employ and staff and training of our staff. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for the presentation, Margareta. That was really great. I would just like to start with one question, which is, you mentioned you have about 400 plus customers. Can you tell us a bit, who is your typical customer? Who is the typical user of your platform?
A majority of the people at home, and the mothers and the retirees, those who are at home, their daughters and sons are away at work, so they call up, please deliver this to my mother. She's at so-and-so address. This is the phone number as you get there. We also to the consumers, those who are living overseas, the overseas families who are ordering online, and then we deliver to the households here in Fiji, their relatives here in Fiji.
Great. And on the other side, the suppliers, how does your supply chain work?
The suppliers themselves are us, the group, the women's group in the Waimbao area. There's 6 farms altogether, and we have given in 2 acres of our land, and we planted the 2 acres. So whatever we planted is what we sell online.
You mentioned that you've got existing customers because you've got sales already happening. How are they making the payments to you currently?
Right now, those from overseas are paying through money transfer, either Western Union or Lotus. Sometimes some are through, we pay on delivery. We receive money on delivery.
Okay, all right. Also, you mentioned the 175,000. You said you titled it as sales, but then you've mentioned you purchased vehicles and so on. So was that your revenue? Is it your profit, or was that total sales?
175,000 is the gross sales for the year.
Okay, it's predominantly women who are going to be using these services, and so far, what are some of the protections or issues that you're putting around safety and security for online transactions for these women?
Part of the money that we're asking for, we're pitching for, is basically is to address this issue, and basically to give us the opportunity to upscale the business. And one of the things that we're looking at in particular is a website, the social media platforms, and the cybersecurity element of that, just to also, I think there's the issue of data protection as well.
Thank you firstly for the pitch, team. That was great. And yeah, after the launch pad, really exciting. You mentioned Makareta, the 2 acres of farm. Is there opportunity to expand outside that 2 acres if demand kind of outstrips supply, or is that quite limited in terms of the land available?
Will expand because there is heaps of land out there. Each farms have 7 acres to more than 7 acres. So at the moment we are just giving in our 2 acres. So there's so many other lands available. But if we have the finance, definitely yes, we will go for it.
Sure, awesome. And where do you think, I think you've got some grand plans for the technology. Who do you think is best placed to support you on that technology? Because there's a few I guess components in that technology basket.
Basically, we're talking with some colleagues in town. There's an organization called Software Factory who probably developed the fastest growing credit union in Papua New Guinea. And given the expertise in that area, I think they will be probably one of the providers in terms of helping us implement it.
Great. Thank you. And nothing further from me.
I've just noticed, because you've got that 50,000 slide up, and a lot of the money you say is going towards that investment. So a lot of it is tech, as Finn had pointed out. But I'm just interested, because you're doing food delivery, fresh produce, the quality control issues around those clusters of businesses that you're working with. And then there's, are there opportunities to also include then to address some of the quality control and food safety issues around value adding? So, doing frozen cassava or dried fruit and vegetable or whatever it may be. But that doesn't really appear there. Is that something you're not seeing in the pipeline immediately, or that's more, so you're looking at infrastructure investment at this stage?
A mix of infrastructure investment. There's also upgrading of our existing facilities and a little bit of an investment in terms of equipment, and the other thing being the training also with our suppliers. There'd be an element of training with the suppliers to make sure we address those issues that you referred to.
Perfect. Thanks a lot again for your presentation and your time, and we'll be in touch soon.
What a great start to the competition. Before we see the remaining pitches, let's remind ourselves of what happened at last year's competition.
My name is Sino Tambola. My company is Taralaka Services.
Well, I'm Ken Califono and I'm here with my wife, Shana Califono. We're the co-founders of Traceable.
My name is Salman Rachan and I'm working for Drone Services Fiji.
I'm Richard from Drone Services Fiji.
Bulavanaka. My name is Lutia Kerwin. I'm running a social enterprise here in Fiji called Loving Island.
My name is Fanny Fitelli and I am the co-founder of Magenta and the founder of Mama's Mushrooms.
Hey, my name is Mike Gregg and I'm Digicel CEO for Fiji.
My name is Pisajan. I'm here in Fiji, in Suva, to be a mentor in the Seedstars Summit.
I'm an investor at Beacon VC, which is a corporate VC fund of one of the top 3 largest banks in Thailand.
I'm helping working people that need a bit extra income on the side and also students to build up on their resume.
We are doing aerial mapping, surveying, and as the name says, drone services.
We're a traceability technology company, things like tracking fish from bait to plate.
The problem we're solving is organic certification of grow groups in the rural areas.
It is a very personal project because I was a single mom at one time with 2 small children. So I know what it was like to struggle. I knew what it's like to have to look for money.
The key approach of how can we approach an investor or for marketing or just for training purpose, for getting help from others who are already into this field and they know much better than what I was knowing.
After attending this workshop, I've been able to identify problems that I now can cater to, whereas before I've mainly just focused on the solution-wise that I'm providing.
I just felt like we could relate to the content that was delivered.
One of the things that has really stood out is Lean Startup.
This bootcamp has been really helpful. I've come with an open mind, and as a business at this stage, we're really looking at restructuring to grow. So that's definitely been helpful to get that kind of clarity on how we can structure or communicate what we're trying to do, our vision and our mission.
It is very organised. The templates they go through, and from lean startup to approaching how to do your startup. Some of it I wish I'd known earlier, and then helping us learn to pitch and sell our story.
Seedstars for me is that opportunity to build relationships with people who've already, paved the way, and so we don't have to reinvent a lot of things.
I think it's tremendously important, just the idea of incubating ideas, just the fact that you're taking a group of people, helping them mould their ideas and their innovation and build that into a business plan.
I think the people who are in Seedstar Bootcamp right now are very determined. They don't want to be okay with the status quo and they want to change lives.
I guess it comes back to our natural resources. We have pristine environments. We're in this absolutely beautiful, unique area of the world. There's a lot to build off from there, especially coming into this age of sustainability and environmentally friendly development with climate change.
Fiji's got a few things going for it. It's the 2nd largest economy in the Pacific, next to Papua New Guinea.
I think the country started to grow and open up to the world. It's a young population country, so there's might be require a lot of training and mentorship to young people. So I think the international organization or people in the ecosystem could bring not just the funding, but also the knowledge building to the local Fijian entrepreneurs as well.
We need to evolve in terms of digital currency. So the banks, the telcos, the software companies, we all need to get together and get past this challenge around a cash society.
I think it's a great place for investors to actually come and partner with grassroots people who already know the terrain.
The startup ecosystem here is still
quite new.
Yeah, it's not mature.
Strong fiscal environment, strong regulatory environment.
I see a lot of opportunities for people to utilize technology to improve the standard of living for people in this island.
I was never always thinking about myself. I've made it in some way, so how can I help other women like me make it?
Founders like that can be trained, and given the right tool, they can do amazing things going forward.
You never know where the next amazing idea is going to come from, and I think history shows us that.
Everybody has the potential to solve something.
We've got a lot of the challenges that the developing world faces in terms of geographic dispersion, access to markets. So the solutions that we're creating here, like, it's kind of a drop in the ocean, you know, but yeah, those drops have a ripple effect. So look out for us, we're coming.
My name is Majid Shahzad, and then my company name is Cyber Age. I'm from Pakistan, and I've been here, migrated to Fiji in 2009. We are participating in the Seedstar is a cyber food, the online food delivery service. Cyber food startup is an online food delivery service, which we started in 2018. We launched in 2018 September, and we before that we are software development company. We started in 2016. We are supporting the micro and small restaurants. Currently, we have also the international chains on board with us, like a Burger King, New York Pizza, but mostly the micro and small restaurants are on board with us. And all other restaurants which are not on board with us, we also helping them to if the customer is asking to buy food from the all other, even though the roadside barbecue stalls, and we buy the food and deliver. It's not only restricted to the online restaurants only. It's for any restaurants like customer want us to buy, and then we go buy and then deliver. It should depend on the customer's choice. Papa, I want cheese pizza. There's the first question. Is it changed my business from innovative IT solution into the innovative food deliveries? When my son was asking me every day or every second day, Papa, I want cheese pizza. I thought, why? And I'm busy. How come I can do this? So then I started this innovative idea. When I started, then we find there is no online food delivery service available. And a lot of people, we done a survey, a lot of people been looking for that service, especially the business people, the working couples, single mothers. And then we run a survey on the Facebook as well. And then you find people, they wanted to use from overseas as well. And then we find a big problem. So that, okay, said how we can take this opportunity to start this business. It was a big gap in the online food delivery service. And then what the solution we find is to connect the restaurants to the customers. That's the restaurant. And then because the restaurants was also, they wanted to join online food delivery services to earn more revenues, and then customers. And then they are really keen to start they were looking for something like online food delivery service. So that's how they can use the service. They find it's really convenient. And then the part was the reliability and then customer care, though how we can do this part. So as an IT server, we had our vehicles. So what do? We started with develop our own system, and then we started with our own transport, or with our own fleet. So what happened, basically the solution, we created a website and then also the mobile app to let all the restaurants to come on board, and so the friends and families can place order, and then that's how we can do business. And then this is our solution. How we created there's the app we created. Put all the restaurants in. You select your menu, place order, and time, and then mode of payment. You can select it. And basically, it's an opportunity. When we started this business, so it was as a population, the Fiji is less than 1 million population. In the Suva itself is we started in Suva first, and then we go to the Neni, and it's altogether collectively 119,650 population altogether. And we've been trying to capture at least 50% of the market. So we see it is a big opportunity where no one is doing that delivery, and then is a lot of working required. And the food delivery service was the business model. What we started that one to subscription from the restaurants, and then also the 10% on each sale. And then we were using our own fleet, so we were charging averagely $7 per delivery. So that's how it is. Like in 2018, we started. It was it was not a good experience when we started. We launched, and then we launched in September, and we haven't successfully we didn't receive any much orders. And in 2019, that's the figures the restaurant paid as subscription, and then the commission as well, and the delivery charges we earned is and then 2020 is still going on. Is we are improving, and then restaurants are really helping us. It's really good, and it's very, very positive feedback now. And then also we're going to start the grocery as well. With the suppliers, what the suppliers are, we are waiting with the suppliers, the grocery suppliers. We 15% as a commission, and then we are averagely looking for the $10 delivery charges from all the deliveries within the CBD areas. And then our revenue is a subscription, commission, and then delivery charges as well. And our current module is for online food delivery. And then grocery is the innovative. And then next part we're going to do to farm to town. Is all the vegetable or all farms, they don't have access, road access. They are very far from the city areas. We encouraging them to use our service. That's what currently we are working on. We are providing our service to come on board, and then we deliver with their fresh food vegetables to the town areas. And competition, few other Facebook guys have started the business, and then one real competition, they started online food delivery platform, and recently after COVID. And then we are currently, there's the real competition we are facing at the moment. It is positive. No, it was us only, we were doing the deliveries. Now we have another competition. So that's why they have more awareness into the people, and then we're getting better feedback from the customer as well. They have, so they are doing the marketing as well, and as well we also doing the same thing. So we are we need an investment just to develop our grocery app, and then and also want to invest in the existing system to extend to the bigger market. And currently we don't have such. I'm the only one who's looking after the business. We have a development team, but it's been changing, not a continuous one. So we haven't put the team name because people been changing. So we developed in-house. It was our employee, but currently because of the team, I'm the one who's running the administration, accounts, and then marketing as well. So we were looking to expand, to hire the team to expand the business, so we can access the bigger market, and also to increase the fleet. When we go to the rural areas, we need a bigger transport, and then also the delivery equipment, so we can have a better access to the market. So that's my proposal. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your pitch, for your presentation. So let me start with one question, which is, in terms of traction, in terms of not actually key numbers, how many people you have actually at the moment registered in your fleet? So how many people actually deliver your products, and how many restaurants or others have you have signed up to your platform?
Currently, we have 24 restaurants on board now, and then 6 restaurants in queue. And then what happened? We built even though 26 restaurants has signed us agreement, but we are delivering food from all over the city areas in Suva and Nandi. Whatever the customers are asking for any restaurants, which are even though not on board with us, we have a feature for manual orders. They let us know. We go by and deliver. We have currently 2 cars, which we own our 2 cars and one motorbike, and we signed 2 private cars in Suva and 2 private cars in Nandi. They are running if we have excessive deliveries, we hire them.
maybe just a question, Majid, and thanks for the presentation, about what your consumers kind of look like. How many people are using the app and the website, both unique users, but also kind of, I guess, orders to date?
Currently, our as per the traffic, monthly we have 28 to 30,000 traffic on our website and app as well. With the orders, currently we have averagely almost 25 orders a day, which is average day, average orders we can say. Is ups and downs as well, the festival season and the weekends as well.
No, that's great. Thank you. Thanks, Majid. And I had a question about the commission and delivery charges. I wasn't kind of clear what the difference between commission and delivery charge was. Are you able to just explain that?
Commission is like whatever we are selling, we are buying from the restaurants, or on each sale, we are asking for the 10% commission on that. So we are using our own fleet, so that's why we are not hiring we are not outsourcing. So we are using own fleet, so that's why we are charging averagely $7 per order. It's less, and then it's over the delivery address to the restaurants. Is it over the distance?
That's great. That's helpful clarification. Thanks, Majid.
Just two more questions. One is, you talked about your fleet. You've got 2 cars and a motorbike. Are they specially outfitted to, I mean, are they just regular cars and a regular bike, or are they outfitted with particular food safety, food delivery type apparatus? You know, so does it have like a cooler box or a warming box?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Basically, we have our own food delivery bags, and that is all particularly for the food delivery. Those bags are for the backpacks. On the motorbikes, they use the backpack for the deliveries, and then the cars, we put it inside. So there's the food warmer bags, we call food warmers bags. So it keeps the food like 3 to 4 hours, like as warm as much as possible.
Okay, to make mention about Nandi, I'm just quite interested to see what your plan is going forward, particularly with COVID, and knowing that in Fiji and in Nandi particularly, a lot of people have lost their jobs due to COVID because of a lot of the tourism sector operations are based out in Nandi. So there's, if anything, probably Nandi has the most unemployed people. Just interested to see your planned structure going forward with regards to Nandi, because you've made reference to that.
We started in Nandi last year, September 2019. So it was going well. And then with the tourism sector, we had a very positive and it is very good impact, very good response from the general, for the tourists especially. They're very well known with the delivery service. They know how to use it. But after COVID, what happened, the business is, in our country, is like 98% business has gone. So what happened is now in Nandi, what we did, we changed our business module, and then we had the private cars. In that sense, we are hiring a private cars. We given them our bags, and then all gloves and masks and sanitizers. So they are using our bags. We are paying them commissions in Nandi. It was our cars before, but it was extra burden on us because having a car, fuel, and then so that's why we changed the business module in Nandi. Suva, we're using our own fleet, and Nandi we are on contract-based customers. So we wanted to go to Lotoka as well. We have especially from the University of Fiji or University, the other business peoples, they wanted to use our service because we are taking care very positively, and then especially the hygiene practice, and then we take care. So they're asking for just to extend into the Nandi and Lotoka as well. But because of the business, that's what we wanted if we got a chance of having this investment. So that's definitely we'll go from Nandi to Lotoka as well.
Okay, just the last question, sorry. You talk about 160,000. I'm assuming that's US dollars instead of Fiji dollars. And obviously that's to take you to the next level. What is that next level for you when you're wanting that 160,000?
Our current survey, what we've done, we're asking the customer and then going to the farmers. They are facing difficulty of having the farm, the vegetables to the town areas. And then they are looking for someone who can deliver the groceries to their doorsteps. So that's why I wanted to develop our grocery app as well. and then the existing system into broader technology, so we can give them access.
Thank you so much for the questions, and thank you so much, Majid.
Hello, my name is Fanny Fitelli, and I'm the founder of Mama's Mushrooms. Ethnically, I'm Rotuman, but I was born and bred in Lautoka. Mama's Mushrooms is a for-profit social enterprise, and our model is to identify and train women and youth in mushroom farming. We focus on oyster mushrooms. What we want to do is be able to teach communities new skills, entrepreneurial skills, and get them to teach the children that. The idea is to be able to, one, reduce imports, because the price of imported mushrooms is 3 times more than what we're selling at. 2 is to increase the zero hunger, food security amongst communities in Fiji, and eventually moving to the export market in 2021. So currently that's where we're at. My name is Fanny Fitelli, and I'm the founder of Mama's Mushrooms. It's a for-profit social enterprise. We believe in a community of empowered entrepreneurs and focus on women and youth. And so meet one of our generic farmers, a single mom. Kakala is her name. She's 35 years old, 2 school-age children, earns around $120 a week, receives welfare assistance, and is the only income earner. The reality is 80% of women-led households rely on one income source, and 60% of these households live in poverty. So Mama's Mushrooms, in order to respond to this situation, we have a team of reasonably qualified people, certified farm manager, farm hand. We also work closely with the Ministry of Agriculture and also the technical team at the Jankal Institute in Nandi. We're also registered under the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism, as well as with the Department of Cooperatives. We've been very fortunate to also be partnered with organizations like YGAP, DFAT with the Australian government, and with Seedstars. This is our second try with Seedstars. We were very fortunate last year that we came third, and we really appreciated all the support that we've had. So, once again, a picture of our soil-grown mushrooms. We're now moved into a new grow room, largely because this greenhouse was damaged by TC Herald. Now, our model is we identify women or women-led households, or really women in communities or in community groups. We support them by training them with mushroom farming skills. We support them with some farm implements, and we also provide a market for them by buying their produce and feeding that into a supply chain. We also mentor and monitor their farms for 12 months after the training. Our model, like I mentioned earlier, is we're supporting micro farms and helping people build their home-based grow kits. We buy from them at $15 a kg and add a markup of 38%, of course, for our internal costs. And then we sell them to our business and individual customers. So again, we sell, if you look at the business customers, largely in bulk at $25 to $30 per kg. It's really 80% profit margin when we're going from our internal farms, and around about 60 to 65% when we sourcing from our supplementary farms, and as well as with our individual customers. Our traction over the last year, really last 6 months, is we've grown over the last 6 months, which Was surprising because COVID actually pushed us into a place of increased production where people opted for healthier foods. So we also, our large competitors are imports, and so when imports reduced during that time, people sourced local mushrooms. So we then increased our client base, particularly the individual customer base. So our value proposition with our product is about a quality product. In terms of quality control, we do visit our farms. With our farms in the interior, we use Viber or WhatsApp just to share produce photographs. We have a good price. It's 3 times less than imports. It's local. Also, the social enterprise aspect of it is to improve livelihoods and teach new skills. And of course, 100% Fiji owned. Our impact, in a 1 meter by 2 meter plot that we help with our farms, essentially could earn $126 to $108 per week in additional income for each mama farm, is what we call it. We also found that most of our farms have an average of 5 people in each family. And so the impact is helping them to access education, improve nutrition, and also access to quality healthcare. 3-year projections, in terms of the year 1, first 12 months, our expected revenue earnings is 88,000 and our first production house. We're currently in production rooms in our property, and we're looking for land to then do our first production house. We're also looking at year 2 and year 3. Those are some of the projections that we're making based on the sales that we are currently having and the revenue that we, albeit reduced during COVID, but now picking up slowly.
Honey, I'm sorry. Time is up.
Okay.
We will get, I guess, into the slides in a second with the jury questions. I had one question for you, since you've been a finalist of last year's event in Suva. So my question is, from last year, from Seedstars Suva 2019, what has changed in Mama's Mushrooms?
After Seedstars, one of the things that we came out with was a great network, not only through Seedstars, but also being supported by other organizations, but largely starting from Seedstars, the ability to innovate and pivot. And it only showed during the crisis is that we were in lockdown really and couldn't supply outside. And so one of our pivots was to sell dried mushrooms. So we tested, we tried, and it was a successful product. We still sell dried, but then we realized that dried costs a lot of money, because it's around 8 kgs of fresh mushrooms to make 1 kg of dried. And so we've now pivoted again, and I'm happy to say that today at the GPH night market, we are doing a pre-launch of our mushroom spicy pickles. So that's another area that we're pivoting in, just to find a value-added product that will have a longer shelf life, but also to help us prepare to be export ready in 2021. So again, these are some of the things that we started thinking about after Seedstars last year.
How many mamas have you now onboarded?
Yes, last year we didn't have any mamas when we did Seedstars, but this year, we after 12 months or nearly, we have 16 mama farms, 12 in the interior of Vitilevu and 4 out in the west close to us. We've also, in the last Seedstars, we hadn't done any trainings at all. After 12 months, we've done 4 mushroom trainings in different parts of the country, and we currently are testing. Apart from the 16 farms, we have around 12 more farms that are currently undergoing their test farms. So at the end of the next 3 months, we would then be employing them, or rather contracting them as mama mushroom farms. So again, there's a lot that we have achieved. In terms of training, we trained in Naitasiri, we trained 50 women. In Lautoka, we had 2 trainings, a total of 60 women. And then with Friends Fiji, we trained another 24. And these 24 people were people who lost their jobs during COVID. And they work for the air terminal services, Fiji Airways. And so these are people that we trained. And from them, we have 6 women who are currently doing their test farms. And then our last training recently was with a team that we took down to Rambuta, which is right in the middle of nowhere, and trained 50 women because they have the perfect condition for mushroom farming. Now we're currently talking about logistics. They do have transportation from their area daily, and so Mama's Mushrooms is looking at how we can meet them halfway to then get the produce as fresh as possible.
Thank you so much, Fanny.
Thanks, Fanny. I'm just interested just to pick up on some of the points you've raised. Your clients, I mean, you're saying there are a lot more households. Are they still, would you say they're more restaurants? Because I know you had individuals and sort of organizations.
So what we found was during the COVID lockdown, we realized that our increased customers started off with individuals who were previously buying imported, like they would just buy the canned ones from the shelf or imported fresh mushrooms. And I can't say fresh because they arrived already expired. But we also, now that restrictions have been lifted, and we have started recently supplying 2 hotels, and also just recently started 2 new cafes, and our first deliveries to 2 new restaurants in Nandi will begin on Friday. So, not only the individuals, but increase in restaurants and cafes and in the hotels. The hotels are actually, what they're doing is they're buying the mushrooms locally, they're testing out the local product and consistency of supply and the quantities, but they're also testing out the new menus with local produce.
I mean, you haven't mentioned the amount of money you are asking through the pitch, but what is that money going toward?
That money is going towards building the whole process, the grow farm. We currently have grow rooms, and so what we wanted to do is purchase land so that we can put down grow houses. The idea is to be able to build a facility that would then start from scratch, which means we would then be able to start making our substrates and growing our own mycelium and be able to supply. Because what really happened was, with an experience like COVID, government shut down, and then we couldn't get our substrates. So we were lucky that we got our substrates closer towards the shutdown, and so our substrates lasted throughout the lockdown in Lautoka, after which we then resumed picking it up. But then it showed us that we were in a position where we could actually lose our business if we didn't work towards doing the process ourselves. And so what we wanted to do is to start making our own substrates and also start trying out new varieties that's competitive in terms of the hotel market, because they're using more button or portobello and shiitake. And so we want to be able to move into those varieties. So, it's all in preparation towards that. So the funding is really to be able to have the first facility down and then generate enough revenue for us to then build at least 2 other facilities in Fiji to be able to support the export market, but also support the local farmers with substrates.
Thank you, Fanny, for your time. That was really, really great. And thanks a lot for being with us for the 2nd year in a row.
My name is Akshay. My company is Nandrua Apps. Our motto is sailing towards digitalization. So I'm originally from Lambasa, the 2nd island in Fiji, Vanuatu. But after going to university, I'm living in Suva now. Nandrua Apps is a software engineering firm, and one of the platforms that we've created is Multi-Drua. It's a multi-vendor e-commerce platform for Fiji. We are targeting SMEs, small and macro businesses in Fiji. They make up around 18% of the GDP. So we are trying to help them to market their businesses and products not only in Fiji but to international markets as well, creating a extra stream of revenue and a sustainable business plan. Fiji is mainly a tourism-based country, and things that we have here are so unique and quite a variety of things. And there's a lot of market overseas as well. So we want to grow not just us, but with the small businesses, take them along with the journey and just grow together as a community.
I'll start off by saying at this day and age, if your business is not on the internet, then your business could be out of business virtually. So we are Nandrua Apps. Our motto is sailing towards digitalization. So at our core, Nandrua Apps is a software engineering firm making custom software products, QA, and consultancy services. I am Akshay, one of the co-founders. Now, what we saw in our community was that at the time, Fiji did not have a central entity to lead e-commerce development. So most macro businesses within our community lost out on the benefits of having virtual shops. Our team really believed that we could be this guiding body and influence Fiji's online economic growth. What we realized was that Fiji and the Pacific have a wide and unique variety of products, and the market penetration, international market penetration for these items was very low. While there are established trade already in place, but these small businesses are the ones missing out on this opportunity. Now, the solution that we came up with was Multi-Drua. Multi-Drua is Fiji's first multi-vendor e-commerce platform. So the Drua in the olden days was a form of transportation carrying people and goods across islands for discovery and trade. So Multi-Drua as a symbol stands as the Drua for the digital age. Now, we want to bring Fijian-made products to the forefront of the international market and at the same time empowering people to be self-sustaining. Fiji's GDP, 18% of Fiji's GDP is small and micro businesses, and that is our target audience for this project. We are targeting premium Fijian-made products, and at the moment, the platform is operating within Fiji, but our main goal is establishing a Pacific chain of export reaching internationally all over Oceania and around the world. So I have some stats here. In around 2017, Australia was Fiji's second largest export. And followed by New Zealand as well. In 2018, Fiji exported around 98 million. Now, these export chains were mainly, as discussed, for established businesses and trade centers in Fiji. But the SMEs, small businesses, they don't have such skills, or they don't have such guidance to actually market these platforms outside the country. So what we want is for this platform to be their stepping stone and display their products all over the globe. Now, the business and revenue models that we are looking into are commission, monthly subscription, and advertisement basis, as with most of the e-commerce platforms out there. So the rough projection that we are looking at for 2021 is we want to have at least 15 paying vendors on our platform, doing 50 transactions per month on average of $30 per transaction, and hoping to grow this triple-fold by 2022. So at the moment, we have 10 plus vendors already on our platform, having over 150 plus products listed. We've done some sales on our platform as well, but at the moment, the platform is running locally, dealing with transactions within the country. We are in the process of partnering with shipping providers so that we can establish overseas transactions by January 2021. So currently we're discussing with Post Fiji International Shipping and DHL to bring their services, integrate their services on our platform. So for 2020, what we focused on was doing our soft launch, doing vendor onboarding, improving our platform, and doing marketing on it. 2021, we are aiming to have it international, and by 2022, what we want is to set up a dedicated team to manage and run this platform. And during this time, we'll continue to do improvements, enhancements, new features, and incorporate robotic process automation and AI for better campaign management as well. So Our team consists of highly skilled people. We've worked on some of Fiji's most innovative projects, such as mobile wallets, e-transport, value-added services, superannuation funds, disaster relief solutions, financial solutions, and climate change software as well. We have masters in computing and information system management, public administration. So during our tenure in other organizations that we've worked for, we've done all of these projects, which has given us the skills that we believe will help us to continually evolve this solution as we go forward. So the investment that we are looking at around 200K to become self-sustaining within a year, transferring that funds within marketing, growth, development, and operations. Some of the products that we already have are handmade soaps, natural oils, apparel, handicrafts, and premium cover products. So I think I'm out of time as well. That was all I had for you for the moment. So thank you for listening to me.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Perfectly on time, so greatly appreciated, and congratulations. That's a very, very interesting concept. Basically, just let me understand if I get it correctly. So the idea behind this is that this is it's like a standard e-commerce platform, but with this approach of a virtual department store. Is that correct?
It's a multi-vendor e-commerce platform. So what we have is the entire multi-vendor setup is in our platform. Each vendor that we have has their own online store. They can manage their orders, manage their profile, their listing, all by themselves. And in cases where they are not that tech savvy or they do not have resources to manage it, our team actually facilitates and manages their platform for them and relays any orders that they may get. So because most of the SMEs, say handicraft shops, they do not have that level of skill set or maybe resources to go online and manage all of these things. So we're trying to set up that dedicated team for ourselves and help them to facilitate these transactions. So it's basically a virtual mall, this platform.
Okay, that's great. You said you have in the pipeline this discussion with DHL and another company. So on this, like, what are your what do you think is the timeline for you to get there with onboarding these guys? And as well, I just wanted to understand a bit more the revenue streams.
So in terms of the shipping providers, we've already been in discussion with both Fiji. They are actually working on price plans for us at the moment. Once they finish the price plans and the packages for our team, we'll basically discuss, do the contract signing, and then what will happen is we'll be configuring those international table of rates on our platform. And as for DHL, they are supposed to do a demo of their internal shipping system to us sometime this month. And once that is underway, our platform has already set their solution integrated. So all we need is an account with them, and it'll be ready. So that's why we've given 2021 January as the timeline. For the revenue model, so what's happening is that for every transaction that will be done on our platform, we charge a certain percentage of commission, which is for basically the payment methods that we have. So we pay some commission to the payment methods that we use. Mainly right now configured is PayPal for international markets and bank-to-bank transfer, as well as M-Pesa mobile wallet is also there. So certain percentage of transactions they charge us, and from that 10% from that commission that we charge on the transactions, we give it to them, and the base is made as our profit. Subscription models will be charging so because of COVID, what we did was we onboarded them completely free of charge for 2020. So from 2021 is when we'll be charging monthly subscription to be on our platform and put their product listings there. As well as in terms of advertising, we have certain spots available on our platform whereby businesses, companies, they can advertise their products or banners or something like that. So they can buy those advertisement spots as well.
Actually, thanks so much for that presentation. That was great and really interesting. With the soft launch of the platform, and maybe the international shipping component not yet fully developed, you know, have you had an insight into who are the people ordering and what products are they ordering? Is it entirely domestic?
Yeah, so at the moment it is running within Fiji, so we have not opened up the platform to other countries. So most of the transactions that we saw were handicraft and apparels. The challenge again is changing people's mindset, bringing them to this new way of doing their sales. But they're a bit more open to it because due to COVID, a lot of businesses got shut down and SMEs were really struggling. So they are open to this new way of life, new way of doing business. The main struggle that we are facing as a company right now is that we are also kind of a startup, and we do not have that brand exposure in our community. So building that trust initially is what we are struggling with people right now. They want to, before anything, they want to see the stats there, but in order to get the stats, we have to actually start up.
And just maybe one quick question. Do you expect that you'll kind of curate the vendors on your platform, or do you think it'll just be like anyone and everyone who wants to be on the platform can be part of the platform?
We are mainly focused on Fijian-made products, premium Fijian-made products. What we are doing is we are only onboarding businesses that are registered in Fiji, just not anyone who can join us. So registered and licensed businesses shall be there, and selling premium Fijian-made products. Hopefully they have the government-sponsored Fijian emblem attached to their platform. In terms of within the country, the platform that we have, it can have sub-stores as well, but we have not integrated sub-country stores right now. It's just one e-commerce store. So maybe down the line, if anyone wants to join, we can enable them to join and have a separate sub-store for Fiji internally. But then the main focus is that Pacific export chain for premium Fijian-made products.
Thanks, Akshay. Well done, and I'll pass it over to Alisi.
Hi, thank you so much for that interesting presentation. Loved it. Just two quick questions. One is, if you were to get, the money that you're requesting in some form, what would you say is the biggest challenge out of all the list of things that you want to do? And the second question is, I see your team composition is a lot more ICT tech folk. Are you working with anyone in sort of the trade facilitation? Because you're looking at, products moving borders. Are you having discussions with anyone that's sort of working in the trade facilitation space or in that area?
At the moment, we have one of our team members who's in the HR department, management and administration. So she's the one who actually manages the discussion between other trade partners, FRCS, Ministry of Trade, to see how we can get Fijian-made partnerships done. So not exactly in any committee or organization at the moment. In terms of how we'll be using the funding, the main thing for us would be marketing and growth, brand building, because in order to get people on board, in order to do that, we'll have to do outreach programs, onboarding, training, and basically the brand building partnership, marketing online, Google ads, and social media marketing, targeted campaigns for all our vendors. So the majority of the funds will be used in that marketing and growth section. Development wise, since we are, like you said, tech based, and we have development skills there. So development wise, upgrades, features, and maintenance, we are completely capable to keep on evolving this platform. Operations, like I said, we want to set up a team by 2022. So we'll probably get some staff on board who can go out into the community, talk to these SMEs, these vendors, and explain to them, see what their challenges are and how we can help them through our platform. So those are basically the fund distributions that we are looking at. And we are hoping to be self-sustainable within a year if we can accomplish all of this.
Okay, perfect. Akshay, thanks a lot for your time and the presentation. It was great. So you'll be hearing from us soon. Thanks a lot again.
Drone Services Fiji. What we're doing is we're enabling unmanned aviation in Fiji and the Pacific. And we've been in business for nearly 4 years now. Okay, so the problem is here. The problem is one of the problems we're addressing with our clients is drugs and using drones to find drugs. So some of the drones we've sold to Fiji police have already had a big impact in Fiji with recently up to 86 million Fiji dollar drug haul in Kandavu, and that was possible through drones. Okay, so a lot of profile for our business there. Okay, so solution is different enterprise level drones. They're very capable. We are the DJI enterprise dealer for Fiji. We've been appointed at the end of last year, and DJI's global market share is over 70%. In Fiji, it's greater than 95%. So we're the sole DJI enterprise dealer for Fiji, and we also cover the 22 Pacific Island countries, including PNG, that are within the Pacific community. We're also the sole civil aviation of Fiji approved drone pilot certification provider for Fiji. And so we're supporting, I guess, end-to-end sales with drones from not just selling the drone, but ensuring that clients we sell the drones to legally operate them and know how to operate them. Okay. So this slide's a bit out of date, but so the market size is the opportunity from recent market surveys. The Oceania area is a size of 650 million. I'd updated the slide. Australia and New Zealand is around 600 million US, and then I'm estimating the Pacific market is around a $50 million US market, and Fiji at the moment, just with our business with drones, and that is around a 0.3 million US market. So there's a lot of opportunity to grow in the market and actually service Fiji and also other Pacific countries. Being a DJI enterprise dealer, we're certified. We can provide warranty, extended warranty programs for the product where they support and replace drones and service them. So we're actually authorized seller and repair agent as well. The deal sizes are anything from 5,000 Fiji dollars to 100,000 Fiji dollars per drone sale. What we're finding with our clients is that now there are not just one drone, they'll buy multiple drones. So our clients are enterprise and government, so they'll buy multiple drones and a thing. So our relationship is not just a single drone sale; it's over months and years is what's happening. Okay, within Fiji, we're seeing in the last 12 months we're seeing 15% growth even with COVID. So we've changed our business model to be from servicing to more into dealership, so we're seeing conservatively a 15% growth per year. So we see that growing, and the potential, we haven't looked at outside. We're just starting to look outside of the Fiji market to Papua New Guinea and Vanuatu, and there's other countries as well. Okay. Okay, so traction and responding to COVID-19. So I touched on, we've pivoted from sales, from service sales to product sales. Okay, and we're seeing very substantial growth since we've picked up the dealership with DJI, and in fact we have other dealerships, Quantum Systems from Germany as well. We represent them, and also the remote sensors and payloads that go with the drones. So in the last week, DJI's announced LiDAR, laser scanning, and surveying photogrammetric drones for some of their the latest flagship N300, which is on the photograph behind me, drone. So, and they're coming in at a lot lower price point than competing products. So we're definitely a lot of interest from that already in the market in Fiji and elsewhere. Okay, so you're seeing very low product sales to negligible to this year. We're on target to have sales of over 300,000 Fiji dollars. Services you see have dropped off a lot. Training's fairly steady. We bundle our training in with our products, so it's a way of enhancing the deal with our clients. Okay. So some of our clients, so in terms of traction, we've got a list of strong clients. We've recently added the Pacific Community, Secretariat of the Pacific Community. They're buying a high-end drone system from us. That's almost 100,000 Fiji dollar sale. University South Pacific are also adding the big mapping drones from us, and we'll be buying multiple drones as they bring. They've added geospatial and other training, so these is longer term growth there. Their sales are 80,000 Fiji dollars there. I touched on Fiji Police. We've sold 7 drones to them, and there'll be more drone sales as they build their unmanned capacity. We've trained something like 16 police officers, and that's ongoing. Ministry of Fisheries and Forests, they've started their drone program. They also have a long-term view on that, and a lot of support from government in there. We also have some other clients. Leach they run the Nabora landfill, which is the largest landfill for Fiji. Half of Fiji's waste goes there. We map that 6 monthly basis and provide services there. We've done work with Monash University with their.
Sorry, Richard.
Yep.
So, Richard, time is up, and let me quickly get started and ask you a quick question about the team. So, who is in the team, and how many people actually are you employing now?
Okay, so we're a quite small team. Myself, Salman's our chief pilot. He's based in Fiji. Shrikant is our finance director, based in Fiji, and Mike's in Fiji. So we're a team of 4, but I guess Salman's our full-time instructor and so forth.
And just to follow up on it, you haven't mentioned yet the funding sort of like needs. How much would you be looking for, and how would you be using this money?
What I've got here is an investment of, it's around 250,000 Fiji dollars, and we're constrained a bit in our growth through having enough ready cash for trade finance and inventory. So we're looking around 30% for purchasing inventory for DJI, so that we can have ready stock in Fiji. At the moment, we place the orders when the clients place them, but we don't have enough inventory. There's a need also for the new technology, the higher end remote sensors like laser scanning and so forth. There's a requirement for funding there, and just some funds for operational and ongoing costs.
Can you explain how this investment gets you to a better place into the future? Kind of like how does this fit within kind of Drone Services Fiji's trajectory going forward?
What we're getting orders for some of the entry-level enterprise drones, for example, and we're not able to fulfill them in a timely manner. So we're having weeks to almost months of delays with the logistic issues. So we need to get paid by a client before we can buy the drones. For example, with DJI, there's a minimum order quantity of $10,000 when we order, and so I guess it's a cash flow thing. So we're needing a bit more available. We need to strengthen our balance sheet. So that inventory money will be recycling. Yeah. So we've got goods coming in, and then we can keep up with our orders. The marketing, or support, technical support. It's just keeping we would need to add a consultant. So we need to improve our digital engagement. So we get inquiries from, telephone, WhatsApps, Facebook, LinkedIn, not so much LinkedIn. Fiji is very strong on Facebook and so on. And we do have an e-commerce site, but it's just strengthening that up. So it takes a bit of funding, which we're a bit lacking.
Have you thought about what a leasing model might look like?
Yeah, so we have rented drones before. We have rented drones but what we're finding is a lot of the government and end users, for example, police, they're not going to lease drones. They want to operate the drones, and they're in tactical areas where they're high risk operations.
Sure.
The drone leasing model is not really practical. It's still high risk. It's not high risk, but someone's got to put out the capital to buy the drone. So I don't see that. I've tried that model already. I've hired drones into the film and television. We've done drone hire to ITV and to Netflix and others. But the problem, then our market of competitors becomes global, because they can rent and hire things from Australia, from the United States for 6 months. So, that price point, sometimes it's cheaper just to buy the drone and write it off against a project.
My only question is around, I guess, the Pacific outreach. You mentioned PNG, you've mentioned Vanuatu. Where does that regional outreach fit into this current proposal?
Now, with COVID, we cannot travel. So I've appointed a sub-dealer in Papua New Guinea who's a surveyor. And so he'll operate the drones there. We can also sell DJI products through him to the mining and enterprise clients. At the moment, I'm also working on a deal with another mining company in PNG for selling them LiDAR and so forth, and quite sophisticated mineral. It's the drone plus the payload that goes with it. So that's magnetometers and radiometric measurements. So this is the thing. It's getting more and more complex, which needs more, I guess, investment and longer term. Being able to buy the equipment as we sell it and just keep up with the cycle. Yeah. COVID's caused some challenges for logistics. There's only one flight, for example, a couple of flights a week into Sydney. A lot of stuff comes through Australia, so it comes and then across to Fiji, and we need to have some inventory in Fiji, then we can stock the other Pacific Island nations. So it's causing a lag, and now I've been able to deliver, actually.
Thank you, Richard, for your time and the presentation. It was a pleasure having you.
Amazing pitches. Congratulations to all the 8 entrepreneurs showcasing their innovative ideas to the jury. Now let's hear what the judges thought about the pitching startups.
So I would just like to ask you if you like to share a few comments and a few ideas about the startups that have pitched today. So 8 Mountains Sustainable.
I think 8 Mountains Sustainable sound like a great business, really successful to date. I think their product is a really important one. Have a connection to Days for Girls, and I think that's really a really important partnership for the team. I think there's a question around the market and the fit for their product for the market, which I think they need to unpack a little further.
And I agree with Finn's points, and I echo the same views, because they are a great fashion label. I think they've done well in the fashion apparel industry in Fiji, but to move into sanitary napkins, it's a pretty different gig. And yes, while trying to address climate change and waste management, the reality is, if you look at the market in Fiji, sanitary pads are not. The prices are actually coming down. So not to say that not to say that we shouldn't be trying to save the environment, but if you're looking at customer choice, the purchasing power, it's probably if you're looking at accessibility, and also now you've got other products coming onto the market for those that can afford it. There are other options to purchase those. So it's still probably a lot more work for them, or some more work for them to do.
I will just move to the next startup, which is Bula Lens. From my perspective, I think that it's quite early still. It's quite early stage in terms of like traction and development of the tech. But I guess that becoming the go-to marketplace for local freelancing could be really interesting. So there is a good market opportunity over there.
No, I think I'd describe it as the Airtasker for Fiji, and I think there's obviously scope for that kind of service. I think my question is whether they're thinking about this problem as too broad and too complex, and maybe it's a really simple solution for a really simple problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great idea, but it's I don't think it's quite ready for the Fiji market. I mean, that's why I was asking about the industry associations and the national private sector organizations in Fiji who are doing similar service. And so SMEs already are struggling to pay for services, business support services. I think there's just got to be a lot more thinking around this.
So then we have C&C solutions.
Park and Pay.
Yeah, Park and Pay. Sorry.
Yeah, Park and Pay.
Yeah, Park and Pay. We've seen this like in many countries. I think that the parking problem is a huge problem to be addressed, especially in emerging markets.
Yeah, no, I mean, great idea. In fact, just last week, my daughter and I were having a big discussion about this in Suva because I was struggling to find parking. But yeah, it's very conceptual at this stage. But even the whole going into the technology, he hasn't really, because he was saying need money to go into the technology. So I think it's still it's very early stages in infancy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think maybe similarly to Bula Lens, like maybe it's gone too far and too complex. Maybe the problem is actually much more simple.
There is a lot in the pipeline, which might not be, might be worth maybe focusing on one or two things and having them sorted out. Perfect. Any thoughts on drone services, Fiji?
For me, drones and cyber, I'm only mentioning this together. They're quite developed, but I think a lot of the funding they're wanting is to purchase quite big pieces of assets or infrastructure. So I wasn't quite sure where that would sort of sit at this point.
Yeah, I think they do have like a great traction, and they've also pitched last year. So there is quite of an improvement. So I think they did a good job. I'm also concerned about like the investments and how they want to use the funds, and also actually about competition, outside of the islands.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, it struck me that it was the investment was more good business practice rather than revenue into inventory rather than investment into inventory. That was kind of I guess alarm bells for me. But I mean, maybe if it's to get over a particular kind of startup hurdle, attention, I guess. But I think it sounds like the technology is catching up to be more appropriate to context, which I think has been a challenge for drone suitability in particularly Pacific context. So maybe there's an opportunity that they're trying to latch onto.
Okay, moving forward, we have Cyber Age. I think it's a solid idea. And also the execution seems to be working. It was also highlighted in the presentation. One of my concerns was related to the fact that he's a solo founder, so there is not like a proper team like behind this business at the moment. So I guess it's tough also for the future development.
I think we could have dived deeper into the issues maybe with the development team and what that meant.
So Mama's Mushrooms, Really happy to see them again, and really happy to see like the growth they had, the evolution they had over the last year competition. So really, really exciting. I'm really passionate about what they're trying to do and trying to solve. So I think it's really great. My only question would be on the scalability of the solution, locally and of course internationally.
I mean, I was there when she pitched last year, and so I mean, I know particularly around this whole thing around having one mushroom versus a variety, and that's still an issue. And to me, that would make a big difference because she's really just doing the one. I guess social enterprise versus actually running a mushroom business. I think there's just it's still a bit blurred, and for her to sort of just clearly maybe demarcate those needs to be in some places.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of scope to grow the business, it sounds like. Yeah, just again a balance between that impact and business aspirations.
So we have Nandrua apps now. What are your thoughts about them?
I kind of like it. I kind of like the app. There's a nice match between like capability and solution and opportunity. I think there's maybe a need to understand a little more about like who their consumer is and where they're going with it, and apart from getting Fiji products to the world, but there's lots of other ways to do that. So yeah, what's I guess their unique value in that space?
Because I like the idea, and I guess it's also something that's been discussed, I know, within the private sector around this whole, it's not quite a distribution center, but it's sort of almost a one-stop shop at this point, but still Fiji focused. Lots of opportunity, but again, they've got a suite of things they want to do, but they just need to scale that back down. And if they can do one or two things properly, I think they've got a good business model.
Waibao Women's Group. What are your thoughts?
I just think there needs to be a lot more thinking around this, particularly when you're looking at the informal sector, because that's essentially what it is. And it's a bit more complex. I mean, it's almost similar to, I guess, Mama's mushrooms, but I think this one's probably a level down. I mean, a lot of the money they're wanting to do is around infrastructure, their website and the tech part of it, but they haven't really thought about even the product development aspect. That's the foundation of their business, and I don't think they've really thought about that.
Yeah, I heard from Waibao Women's Group as part of the Pandia component, and yeah, I think their idea is good. I'm not sure if they're the people best positioned to execute it. It strikes me their idea sits within someone else's idea.
Now, while the jury keeps discussing and gets to a final decision, we want to provide an overview about the entrepreneurship and innovation landscape in Fiji. We are going to hear the perspective of local experts that will share their knowledge in a panel discussion that will be moderated by Kong Sit, Market Engagement Manager at the GSMA Ecosystem Accelerator.
Yeah, thanks for joining. What's new and what has changed since last year? I see a lot of activities going on, and I'm eager to really learn about them.
I guess we cannot answer that without the lens, the COVID lens, because that pretty much took over the whole of this year. Well, there's always two sides of the coin. As they say, when there's crisis, there's opportunities, right? So what came with this crisis is the opportunity for many of the entrepreneurs, MSMEs, founders, owners, to look inward, look within the country on how we could best support each other. I mean, that's one thing that I've certainly seen, which is, I think, exciting. You see more collaborations happening between the MSMEs here in Fiji. And despite, closures, people losing jobs and all of that, we've seen a lot of small businesses starting. I mean, mainly because it's a necessity. We need to survive, and if they can become consultants, if they can use whatever skills they have to start a business so they can feed themselves and their families, that's what they have to do. So there's been that opportunity to see what we can offer as as small businesses in the country. Like now, we when the borders are closed, obviously we need to be looking at utilizing our own resources internally instead of importing so much stuff. There is a opportunity there. Services like, for example, Cyberfood and its competitor. There's another competitor that's come up after Cyberfood. I mean, Majid has been operating for a number of years, and the uptake had been slow. I think because Fiji, we take our time, to to get there, to really embrace or fully understand, the trends that are happening outside of Fiji. We take our time, but because of COVID, we have to evolve fast and quickly, and as I mentioned Majid, because like I know that when it happened, so many more restaurants signed up and a lot of people started using his services, when before that they were struggling to get people on board. So I think what's exciting is that opportunity side of what crisis bring to a small nation like ours, and especially in the business arena. So that's what I would say. Save, your thoughts?
And agree with Ron with much of what Ron has said. Like, there's been a lot of changes, especially with the impact of COVID. For one thing, I think just the recent newspaper article that came out last week indicated that there had been an increase in the number of business registration. So I guess the landscape for MSMEs has increased tremendously, and that being due to the fact that with the borders being closed and Fiji being heavily dependent on tourism, a lot of people are now seeking self-employment in terms and moving into entrepreneurship to sort of supplement their livelihood. So there has been an increase in the number of people that are going into businesses nowadays, especially now. And with that also in the landscape in terms of the support that is being provided, we can see that government has tremendously moved towards trying to increase their support towards MSMEs and trying to make the cost of doing business and such a bit more easier for businesses in Fiji. There's certain regulations that have been let go of, like you now do not really need a business license. You just need to register your business if you want to run a business. But there are certain requirements that are still in place. And also with regards to issues around tax and such from the tax office, there have been a lot of regulations around tax that have been sort of let go to allow businesses to operate a bit more freely. So there have been some positives, but also I guess with trade as it is right now, with the borders being closed, it's still having a tremendous impact. So I guess for most businesses and for most people going into entrepreneurship now here in Fiji, they're having to resort to certain businesses where you're able to basically operate internally within Fiji. So that sort of saturates the market a bit. But I guess it's also driving people into being more innovative with the kind of businesses and business ideas that they come up with. Yeah.
Do you also see more people or more businesses starting to use electronic payments? Because in other countries where local transmission is still pretty high, they see cash is one possible transmission factor, as they call it. Do you see that, or is it something not noticeable at the moment?
Yes, like for example, there's at least 2 big companies that have started an online shopping space from one is Vodafone, of course, with VT Card and pushing for M-Paisa. And you see that a lot of small MSMEs have pushed M-Paisa as one of their payments, like the merch, it's small business, even Weta. A lot of the small businesses around here have started taking it on. I can see that. Apart from Vodafone, I know CDP, which is a shipping company in Fiji, is also starting their own e-shopping portal. So there's been, this push because it's still quite hard for small businesses in terms of having their own e-commerce site because of how I know we only have Westpac's payment gateway that we could use, and it can end up being quite expensive for small businesses. And so big companies like Vodafone have, of course, figured this out, and with this shared space, they're trying to, right now they have the big companies in there, but I know that they're talking to small businesses to be there as well on their shopping portal. So yeah, I think there has been a rise in usage of electronic payments.
Hi, Savi. In your members, do you also notice that difference? Is that a trend generally? Mm-hmm.
Well, in the past couple of meetings that we have with our Young Entrepreneurs Council, and I think also with the Women Entrepreneurs Council, there's been a push for them to try and get online payment portal, I think. Because I think in Fiji there's an issue with the banks, I think, that's sort of holding that up.
Yes, sorry, I'm just saying that at the moment we only have Westpac that's offering that.
Oh yeah. So I guess there's a push from the MSMEs to try and get this on to try and get this online portal payment thing really rolling and going underway. But also there's been a large promotion of digital money, M-Pesa app usage here in Fiji, and there's a lot of people that are just going around using this in comparison to cash transactions. I for one, and it's sort of being marketed very well. So I've seen a lot of people really get onto it with the banking apps and the Vodafone apps, just being able to transfer cash easily between these apps and then making payments at the at various supermarkets and at various shops and such. So it's quite easy to do that nowadays. So yeah, it has generally increased, especially now, just over the past couple of months. Yeah.
Wondering, what do you imagine after all this COVID is gone? How should an entrepreneur or businesses prepare themselves for post-COVID world in Fiji, right? Any advice, thoughts, and yeah.
I think one of the main things is that businesses should really start creating a strategy or a plan to moving their business online, or at least having a presence online, because as we could see, when everything happened, of course the ones who had already started had a head start. In providing avenues for customers to be able to be in touch, and for the businesses to be going. So I think I'm really thinking of creating a strategy to moving the business online is important for businesses, and also create a BCP that includes pandemics. I will certainly, for Greenhouse, that's what we had to do. And I think we need to go back there and write, our strategies on to ensure that the business will become sustainable, have multiple revenue and income streams. Targeting different types of customers is always key. Ensuring that relationships with your customers is not just transactional, but you've really built, memorable customer experiences and a good relationship with them to be able to keep going, even when there's a crisis. Certainly, that was one of the things that really helped us survive as a business at Greenhouse. Was we really relied on those existing relationships with our clients to be able to survive and keep going during this pandemic. If we didn't invest and take really a lot of time building that, we probably wouldn't be here now. And I think, and Kong, you mentioned this, innovation in every level. Look at the different ways that you can deliver your product or service in such a situation, for example, that needs to be in their BCP as well, to ensure that they will be sustainable, that they're able to thrive and get to the other side when something like this happens again.
Thanks, Sean. I think Runa's probably said it all. Yeah, but definitely, I think going forth, the key things that Rona has shared is definitely been for one, business continuity planning. I guess for one thing, here in Fiji, we were so much focused on being disrupted by disasters, natural disasters, that when this came along, everybody was just definitely thrown under the rug and didn't really have any idea of how to deal with this. So I guess planning going forward is being able to ensure that whatever plans that you have to mitigate certain issues encompass a whole wide range. You really have to think out of the box now and see, whatever it may be that can impact your business and seeing how you can best deal with it. Other one is just being able to have more revenue streams to allow your businesses to better survive if a certain area aspect of the business is being affected or impacted. Going virtual, definitely going virtual is something that is key. Businesses need to step out into that. We have a lot of traditional businesses in Fiji, and I guess there's a need for them to now really step forward into understanding how the global market and how the global economies are working, and being able to understand how they can reach further than just being able to operate within Fiji itself, and seeing how they're able to not only better develop their services for customers here in Fiji, but within the region and internationally. I think, we should have the target where, as a business, you're not just focused on the local market, but also looking outside of Fiji into the regional space, into the international space, so that you broaden your customer base, and you're able to pull in more customers and also develop your businesses better. I guess we have that ability, and you'll also push for a lot more innovation and push for a lot more creative ideas around marketing your businesses and developing your businesses, and whatever business ideas you have, or products or services that you may have. It really push for. I guess innovation is something that we really need to push here as well, post-COVID, to allow for businesses to perform better, and also to be able to better prepared when faced with issues such as this, if they were to arise again.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's I think the key will be to be adaptable, and be resilient, and when just realize, just sort of like making sure you're aware of the realities, what's coming next. Yeah, and thank you again for giving time, and I appreciate that. I think we have quite a bit of discussion, which is all very valuable, and I think the viewers in the world will be happy to hear that there are businesses who are thriving in this difficult situation, and we hope that everyone is able to adapt and sort of like survive these challenges. If you have any last thoughts or questions or wishes, please feel free to say before we end this call.
As a small business owner, founder myself, that we're in solidarity with everything that's happening, and I think this is a time for collaboration, to be able to rise out or above whatever we're going through, and we have to be prepared that this can happen again. So we have to find all the ways that we can to and learn from it, so that we can really survive and thrive in the future. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Kong.
Thanks, Rona. Savi, any last thoughts?
I guess just maybe what Rona has just shared. I guess this is a time for collaboration and working together, just to ensure that we are all able to get out of this, survive this, and grow from this. It's something that we've seen lately here in Fiji amongst businesses, is how collaboration has helped everybody succeed and pushed everybody ahead. Yes, going hand in hand, and having that solidarity will allow everybody to, for all of us to grow out of this, and be able to just succeed and push forward. And if this was to happen again, we'll be better prepared. And I guess it's coming towards the end of the year, and we've been resilient enough and been adaptable enough, and I guess if we can just hold on to that, we'll be sure to see the end of the year and go on to the coming year with a lot of positives. So I guess just working together, collaborating, and ensuring that we're all together in one, trying to get through this period in time that we are facing. In that case,
Thank you very much for making time, and appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a difficult year, and I wish everyone a safe year ahead.
Thanks to Kong and the panel members for that interesting discussion and insights. Now, the time that you were all waiting for has finally arrived. The jury has selected the winner for Seedstars Suva 2020.
This year, we have received more than 60 applications for the Seedstars Suva pitching competition, the local chapter of the largest competition for startups in emerging markets. We had 8 great entrepreneurs pitching online, and after a very long and difficult deliberation with the jury, we have a winner. The winner of today's event will participate in the regional phase of the competition, competing with fellow entrepreneurs from Asia Pacific, and among other prizes, will be awarded 2 free months of the Investment Readiness Program, a program developed by Seedstars that aims at supporting startups in their journey to raise funds. Moira, we're huge fans of sustainability, and we were really impressed by your brand recognition and current traction. However, we had some concerns with regards to the future market competition, and we are curious to see how you will handle the next stages of your growth. Sagufta, we believe that there is definitely a need for this service and a demand in the market that can be fulfilled. The project is still in its early stage, and we believe you need to have a clear focus on the activities you want to pursue to be successful in this space. Sanjeewa, the idea for your business is great. You're tackling a huge, widespread problem, and there is no question on the demand for it. Being in its conceptual stage, we're really curious to see how this will evolve over the upcoming month, especially under the technological aspect. Richard, you stood out for your great traction and your ability to adapt your offering in response to COVID-19. We had some doubts on your plans for growth and on the allocation of the funds. Majid, you're running a solid business. There is definitely a rising demand for your service, and your traction is good. We had, however, some concerns about the challenges of being a solo founder and the ones related to the future development of the technology. Fanny, you stood out for your great passion and for your ability to grow your business over the last challenging month. Also, your support to the women in the ecosystem is really admirable. On the other side, we had some concerns around the scalability of your solution and the ability to find a balance between impact and business. Akshay, we believe there is definitely a big opportunity in the e-commerce sector, and it seems that you could have the right team to be successful in this space. However, we believe there is still some work ahead to understand better your customers, and we're curious about how you'll be executing your strategy and grow your customer base. Macareta, the idea for your project is really good, and you're clearly very passionate about the problem you want to solve, which is a big problem indeed. However, there is still a long journey in front of you to make this marketplace a reality, and there will be many challenges to overcome. So now, before I announce the winner, I would like to thank all the people and partners that have made this possible, especially during these challenging times. Thanks to Alizia and Finn for helping us judge the 8 founders competing, and a special thanks goes to the Australian government and the GSMA for supporting Seedstars and for allowing us to digitally bring the competition to the Pacific Islands. So now, it's finally the time. The 2020 Seedstars Suva winner is Akshay from Nadrua Apps.
Oh, wow. I really did not think that I would get this. Wow. My team will be so happy about this.
Congratulations. Many congratulations, Akshay.
Thank you so much. I applied for this not thinking that I would win, but rather getting the experience of participating in this kind of event. But now that you've actually said that I won, I have a new sense of accomplishment and a new belief in the project that I'm doing, that it's not actually my idea, but people believe in my idea as well now. And that gives me extra motivation to continue this. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Akshay, and really congratulations. Of course, We want to congratulate all the other participants for the amazing job they're doing. And by the way, just to remember everyone that we have more than 60 applications for this competition. So congratulations again. And especially congratulations for fostering the growth of Fiji's entrepreneurship landscape. It was really inspiring for me and I guess for everyone else watching this to hear about your projects and innovative ideas. And we wish you really all the best in your entrepreneurial journey. So thanks a lot to all of you. Stay safe. And if anyone wants to share anything, please feel free to unmute yourself and speak up.
Congrats, Akshay. Thank you very much, Seedstars. It's really wonderful experience. I learned a lot. It's my first experience, and thank you very much to be part of it. And then I really enjoyed very well. Thank you very much.
Well done, Akshay. Hope you become the eBay of the Pacific and let your e-commerce project go forward from here. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to all of you. Congratulations, Akshay, again. Thanks a lot, everyone. Talk to you soon and have an amazing rest of the day.
So, after a tense competition, it's Nadrua Apps who will be advancing to the regional stage of the competition and face other winning startups from Asia Pacific. Congratulations to them, and thanks once again to all of the startups that took part. Thank you to all those who attended today's online event. We hope you enjoyed it, and we appreciate you coming and supporting these amazing startups. If you want to find out more information about the Seedstars World Competition, please visit our website or reach out to us on our social media channels. Thank you once again. We hope to see you next year, and goodbye.